guys, today we're going to rebuild the carburetor on an iPower pressure washer. It's 2700 psi. What's the model number on this thing? H27F027, I guess. I don't know what that says. Whatever. Anyways, cheap Harbor Freight for, Northern Tools or online internet pressure washer. We're going to do the carburetor on it. Any of the parts you need will be in the description below. If this helps you out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Alright, first we're going to take the air filter assembly off. Just take this wing nut off. Cover off, makes a great container for your nuts and bolts. Next wing nut, take it off. Put it in a little nut and bolt container. Go ahead and take the air filter assembly off. There's a little washer, don't lose that guy. Put it in there. It's a little rubber thingy in there too. Just make sure you don't lose any of that. Alright, 10 millimeter, 1, 2, and there should be a third one. Somebody's been in this. It's missing the third one up here. 1, 2, and there's usually a third one up there. Take them out. Alright, and then you're going to bring your choke arm and your fuel on off all the way this way so that it slides right off of them. There is a hose on the back side right here. It'll pull right off of this. Oh, it's already off of it. And there's another one right here. This is just a vent. Pulls off, so you got those two. Just go right here, vent, and then this is crankcase ventilation, and this is fuel tank vent. Alright, and then we're gonna... No wonder this thing doesn't work. Remove the choke arm. So somebody's been in this and they forgot to hook up the throttle arm. So I'm going to rehook it up so you can see. So you pull it out and then it slides in, and you kind of got to flex it a little bit. You got to find the hole too. Ooh. It's easier with the fuel line off actually, because you got to get it out a little bit further and then you get it down in there. Hold on, let me use both hands. Alright, so we're going to start over. Just put it on there so you can see how it goes and everything. Alright, the arm just goes in here, but the way you do this though is you take off this guy here, pull this out, and you're going to take the fuel line off and drain all the gas out of it. I'm going to get a clear container. Hold on. You can use an old water bottle. There's little bits of water in there, so you'll know if you got like a drop of water that's just from the water bottle. But you want to know what's going on in this. So you get that, you squeeze this, get it up, out of the way. And then grab this and twist it a little bit. There we go. That makes the fuel line free, and then get it on up, and then we're going to drain it right into the water bottle. Gas is not brown. We're going to drain all this gas out, get every drop of it out. The gas is not brown, so I'm going to go ahead and do this carburetor anyways, which I was going to anyways. Just because you took it half apart and didn't put it together right doesn't mean I'm going to get this close and not do the job. So even if it was spotless inside, I'm still going to go through it and make sure that it was. And I'm going to save that for the customer. Then we're just going to go ahead and drain the rest of this out. So this thing rusty inside. We'll pop this out and see what the inside of the tank looks like. I use a coffee can with a little funnel, and that's how I drain the rest of it. We can't really tell what's going on with the gas tank till we get it all out of there. But we're going to let this drain. Alright, and basically got all this out. Oh no, it didn't. It stopped freaking draining. That means there's water or something in this. There's an inside filter here, so we're going to use some air pressure and freaking get this to go again. I mean, it's pretty shiny in there. There's still some mud. I gotta get it all cleaned and dried out. But the metal is looking shiny down there, so it must be his gas can. I don't know. I'm just gonna make sure this thing's perfectly clean. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get on past this here. So fuel line's off, out of the way. I'm gonna pull this out. You see how I just straightened this out pretty good? Pull that out, and you just kind of bend this over a little bit and then pull it straight up. Comes right on out, and then get the spring out. That's how you do that. All right, and pull this off, flip it upside down, 10 millimeter. We're gonna pop that bolt out. Now the washer stayed on the bolt. We're gonna leave it there. If it stays on the bowl, leave it there. Don't mess with it unless it falls off. Then it's fine. But you don't want to break it because then you have to buy parts. I'll put them in the description, but we're gonna try our best not to have to do that. Like there's all kinds of mud in there. We're gonna go ahead and pull this pin out with a pair of pliers. It'll slide out one way or the other. Then we're gonna pull the float straight up out. It's got the needle valve still in it. I'm gonna put that off to the side like this. There's a little spring that holds that in place. You don't have to take it off the float. We're gonna clean it right on the float. All right, then we got the jet inside there. See, it's a flathead slot. Number 2 screwdriver will not fit in this hole unless you grind the sides off of it. So that's what I did. I ground the sides off of it. If you try to use a smaller screwdriver, you're just going to strip the jet out. You need this and this size. So we're going to drop it right in there, get it set on that flathead, and then we're going to take it counterclockwise. But I got to hold it firm with my other hand. So it's trying to strip out, so we're not even going to bother taking it out. Most of the time you just take it out and do it that way, but it's trying to strip, so we're not going to bother. We're going to do it right inside. This is the acid that I use. This is 14 karat gold testing solution. I'll put this in the description below. This is a little trick of mine. I've tried all the acids. Some don't work at all. Some eat the aluminum. Some melt the jet out. This one works perfectly. I've even tried making my own. I've tried muriatic. Don't use muriatic unless you want pits all in your aluminum. It eats the aluminum. So this is the stuff. It's cheap. It's on Amazon. I'll put it in the description. I can do 50 carburetors with one of these little bottles. So you just put a drop or two inside and just let it start simmering. All right, while it's simmering there, we're going to take the front side, and we've got a little hole here and a little hole here. Those are the idle circuits. We're going to put a couple drops in each of those and let them start simmering. Back this side, we'll put one more drop in here. Let it do its thing. Alright, when it's done simmering up here, we're going to slowly rinse it out. I'm using brake cleaner, but card cleaner, brake cleaner. I use the cheapest stuff you can find. It's just for rinsing, and you want a straw on it. You're going to slowly rinse it out. And slowly rinse out the fronts. You're just trying to get the acid out so you don't get any splashback. Once you see how clean that jet's getting, once you get it rinsed out, you can give it a little more force. That finally gave free. Oh, a little bit, but then it stopped again. You're gonna have to boil this a few times probably. And then right through here, it's the same thing. Yeah, see, it's not squirting properly out of there. It's still quite dirty. So we're gonna let this dry off a little bit, and then we're gonna reapply the acid again on all the spots. Up in here. I'm gonna let them simmer first. And there's one more idle jet we're going to take out too. And then we're going to hit here. Let that simmer a bit too. I guess I'm going to have to put a little squirt in that one. There we go. I'm leaving the seal. See, I left the seal right in there. Don't even mess with it. If you take it out, it's going to swell up. And then you got to get new seals and everything. When you start buying all that stuff, you might as well just buy the whole carburetor, which I'll also have in the description below. This is a flathead or a Phillips head. This is your idle screw. Things never at idle, don't worry about where it is. Just take it out. The idle screw comes out. And then there's this is your idle jet for your idle circuit. You're going to just, use a flathead screwdriver, get underneath it, and give it a little twist. I got to hold it with one hand and twist with the other. But it pops straight up out. Just like that. Pull it out, upside down, boom, more brass right there. Hit it with a couple of drops. Let it sit there and simmer. While that one's simmering, we're going to go ahead and rinse this guy out again, and the other two holes out. See, this is starting to simmer now. Rinse these guys out again. Just trying to get the acid out of them. I'm going to turn this where it's not aiming towards my crotch. And give it good hard squirts. Oh, look, it's aiming towards my crotch anyways, because I got that jet out. Look, it's coming out that front now like it's supposed to. See that? Bursting out of there. If you get that carb cleaner in your eyes, it's going to burn. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But it will not blind you. You just stay patient and calm. The pain will go away as soon as it's done evaporating. I found that if you hold your eye open, it evaporates faster. And it goes away faster. Do not panic. I watched a kid in my shop knock himself out because he was freaking out because he had it in his eyes. And he knocked himself out. By the time he woke up, his eyes were fine and his head hurt. Alright, that bugger's clear. I think we're doing good here. I'm going to do one more round. See how nice and clean that's getting now. Do not put it in here. We do have to spray through here, but that's in a little bit. I'm going to do one more round on these 3 spots again, just to make sure they're good and clean. Now I got all those out. We're going to put this in this direction, and that allows the carb cleaner to flow all the way through it. So we're going to rinse it out first. See, it's coming out the other end. Then we get it in that hole and try to give it a good rinse. Flip it around. Go the opposite direction. We're just trying to get it rinsed out so that it doesn't leak. And then get everything inside here rinsed out really well. Just get it all very clean as you can. You can use a little screwdriver to scrape on any of the stuff that's in there. You know, just get it broken free and rinse it out with a carb cleaner. A little pick or something like that. So I got that decently clean. Same with the bowl and the float and the pins. Make sure everything's nice and clean on this. Now staining is okay. It's just the big chunks, you want to get them out of there. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put this together. Put the float in, needle valve goes straight down in. Again, see there's staining on there, but it's fine. And get this pin in to hold all of it together. It's going to take 2 hands to do that. The float should be fairly level. If you blow through this fuel inlet right here with this float down like this, it shouldn't let anything through, and when you lift it up, it should let through air. You tell if your needle valve's working properly. If it's letting air through with it down like that, then it's going to let fuel through and it's going to flood and it's not going to be good. All right. Then bowl goes on top. The drain bolt goes away from the fuel line inlet. Then the bolts, I haven't cleaned this yet. Make sure you clean the bottom of that bolt off. It's rusty and it's right above the jet, so it'll clog that jet up. There we go. And put that in, tighten it down, 10 millimeter. We're gonna go for the idle jet. It's got 2 flat sides on it. Make sure one of the flat sides is against that flat spot. So set it in, line it up. Push it down in, all the way down in. Then you can put your idle screw in, put it in about halfway, where it's halfway in. Like that. No big deal where this idle lands, is there is no idle on this. It's always full throttle, so it doesn't matter. Gasket, make sure there's a gasket behind here. If it tears, it's okay. If you're missing a chunk, it's not okay. It's gotta be whole. This plastic piece I just left on, there's another gasket behind that. This is called an isolator block. Behind the isolator block, there's another gasket. Make sure that those stay in place. We're gonna slide this on. We're gonna hook our throttle arm up to it. Boom, just like that. Once it slides down, it'll slide over, no problem. And then spring goes right here. Make sure the spring is hooked up on that governor arm. Hold on. Underneath there. It's got to be hooked up there. The spring creates tension and takes up the slack, any slack that it might be in this, and keeps it from surging. And you know, that's also the idle circuit. If you've got surging, it's probably in this circuit, or the spring is bad. I've put other springs that are tighter on there. Tighter does not make it worse. It is just fine. You just want spring holding tension between the two. That's all. We're gonna, oh, you know what, before we hook up that fuel line, let's dump a splash in here. Make sure that there's nothing, you know, it just rinses through. I've gotten this all completely dry. We're just gonna throw a splash of fresh gas in there and make sure any remaining dirt just kind of rinses through. We're gonna go ahead and throw a splash of gas in here. It's gonna run out the end here. Look at, see the mud come out of there. Now it's nice and clean. We're just gonna go ahead and stab that on the carburetor now. Just what was remaining in the fuel line. Just want to rinse that fuel line out. Put this clamp down on it. Alright, this all the way in the back. Alright, get this out of the way. This gasket here is going to go with this slot up towards the top right. Like that. We're going to move this all the way forward. That's fuel off. With fuel on, if you leave it here for a little bit, you'll be able to tell if it's leaking, because it'll come right out of the mouth. The mouth will start getting wet, and then it'll start dripping down here. Bloop, 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 bloop. But it's not leaking, so we're turning it off. Where's the choke arm? Choke arm is going to go back on. Metal pin goes in the plastic slot here. And this goes right on here. Boom, boom, just like that. That's all of that. Then we're going to go ahead and put this guy on. Slide them both in there. And down here. Like that. 2 10mm nuts, 10mm bolt. Gas tank vent is going to go up top. Okay, so gas tank vent is going to go up top on this barb. And then you got your California emissions. All this is California emissions. It just goes back through the motor and burns off. So, and then we're going to get the crankcase ventilation on the bottom nipple. Probably would have been easier to do this when it was loose. It's also easier to do it when you got 2 hands. It's on there. Like that. right. Then we're gonna put the air filter back on. Oh, you know what? Let's blow this out with air. On, washer on top of the rubber piece, wing nut. Doesn't matter which one. Both the same thread. Cover. Another wing nut. And that's it, guys. All right, this helped you out in any way, shape, or form. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. If you want to do any advertising on my channel, message me. I'll put all the parts in the description below that you may need for this. I'm pretty sure I can find like a whole tune-up kit for this. You know, the filter, carburetor, I mean everything. Just whatever you need for this. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. Peace.